Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video is a game that I had in the Tier 8 Japanese battle cruiser, the battleship, the Amagi. I'm playing some standard battle here on the map Neighbors, and I'm divisioned up with my two friends, Fatal Donuts in his American Tier 8 battleship, the North Carolina, and my buddy Puddin 597 in his Tier 8 German battleship, the Bismarck. So, there's two reasons why I wanted to show you guys this replay. One is, well, the outcome. I end up having a fantastic game. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's certainly a very, very solid performance in this ship. And I haven't had an Amagi replay on the channel in quite some time. I know the last one that I had was some absolutely monster DPM. I'll put the link to that video right now here in the video, and you guys can enjoy that one as well. But this video, alas, is also very good as well. And it also brings into the second part of why I wanted to show you guys this video, and just the meta in the game right now in general. With the release of German battleships, you tend to find at least 3 or more battleships in almost every single game. There's a lot more, and it doesn't seem like there's too much more of the destroyer or cruiser-heavy gameplay that, you know, to be honest with you, I've seen quite a bit of in the past month or two. With the German battleships coming out in the last 3 weeks, however, it's significantly changed. There's battleships everywhere. And in this game, there's 4 on the enemy team, and there's 5 on our team. We also have a Dunkirk as well. And I'm a fan of the battleship heavy meta, especially at the higher tiers. Also, higher tier cruisers. Again, right here, you're taking a look at the leaderboard. There's also tier 6 carriers as well. Independence on the enemy, and Ryuho for us. But at the higher tiers in cruisers and just battleships in general, that's pretty much what the matchmaking I feel has favored in the last couple weeks. As long as you're really good at, as a battleship captain, as long as you know how to angle your armor and shoot at the right targets at the right time, you can have some exceptionally good games. And this game that you're going to see right here is exactly that. I shoot my first salvo at the North Carolina. Unfortunately, I am just a bit too far in front, and the shells straddle around the bow of the ship. The first salvo is a miss. Now, coming up here on the enemy team, there's Miyoko and 2 Clevelands already. As well, we took a look at the enemy North Carolina. One of the Clevelands is turning away, however. There's also an enemy Otago who just went behind the island. There's an enemy Sims class destroyer up here. There's the bulk of the enemy fleet is definitely coming up towards the islands up here, which would be the sea objective if we were playing domination. So I'm now taking a look at another shot here on the enemy North Carolina. He is sailing completely broadside, 16 kilometers away, and I fire my second full salvo broadside out at him. And this salvo looks much better. I think I aimed it a lot better than the first one. Shells fallen in. Unfortunately, I actually only hit 2 shells, and one of them is ricochet. I do 4,100 damage. And at this point, off my starboard side, I noticed that quite a few of the enemy torpedo and dive bombers are coming in towards my position, so my AA begins to do its work. Now, fortunately for me, all those planes decide to go attack my buddy Donuts over there, and his AA absolutely chews him up and spits him out. I get my 3rd broadside out now on the enemy North Carolina. Hopefully, I can get something better than my first 2 salvos. He is still sailing broadside, still not paying attention. The dispersion looks a little less than satisfactory, and the salvo is also less than satisfactory. 7,177 damage. 2 salvos on that guy. He still has not learned. He is still sailing completely broadside, and I have not made him pay. I did manage to shoot down 6 planes, but the majority were definitely shot down by Fatal in his North Carolina. Looking for my 4th salvo of the game now, again at the enemy North Carolina. The island comes into play just as I shoot. Luckily for me, all my shells are able to get over the island. This salvo looks really good. If I can't make this guy pay here, then I just need to stop shooting at him. All right, there we go. 6,700 backed up by an 18k salvo. Over 25,000 damage done to him. And I think he's got to turn away now. Yes, sir. First Citadel of the game. 11 shell hits. 37,000 damage here in the early stages of this game. We're not even 4 minutes in. I'm now looking for my next salvo here against the enemy Cleveland. Cleveland is a very good armored light cruiser. Has well over 100 millimeters of Citadel armor. But when you're getting shot up by 16-inch guns in a full broadside, yeah. There we go. 15,000 damage. 1 Citadel, 1 target hit. First ship destroyed in the game. Fantastic start here in the Amagi on Neighbors. Now, my buddies Puddin and Donuts over there that have moved up, they've been taking all of the damage for me up here, and they both decided at the beginning of the game that they were going to push, regardless of the enemy composition up here through the islands, and, well, Clearly, they're not having too good of a time. They've been focused fired by most of the cruisers and the battleships that have been up there, and they both are at around half health, on fire, and bleeding health slowly. I'm now looking for another broadside here on an enemy North Carolina. He is also at around 16 kilometers, 15.6 to be exact, and I fire my full broadside out at him. He is moving at a rather peculiar speed, though, so the bulk of my shells are going to hit at the rear of his ship, and I still managed to do a solid 8,300 damage off of 3 shell hits. The Amagi is known in World of Warships for being a somewhat accurate vessel. As a matter of fact, the most accurate battleship. I guess I misled you guys there, but honestly, I don't see it. Sometimes these salvos, they just do not make people pay. And as you've seen with quite a few of the North Carolina salvos, on the first one that is, and then this one right here, just not making them, not getting those 20, 30K salvos, where I certainly believe if that was me in the North Carolina, that would have happened. I'm going to take a look here. The shell's falling in on target. I do manage to get a Citadel amongst a slew of other hits. End up around 15K on that salvo. And while that's certainly satisfactory, you can never complain with the Citadel. It certainly didn't feel like a juicy hit to me. At this point, I continue my turn to port as I didn't want to get too far ahead of the island. I will take one torpedo here right underneath the third gun. The torpedo hits. Only does moderate damage. I don't get flooding. All right. Enemy Otago presenting a perfect broadside to me. Shells flying in and... oh, dear. That was horrific. Oh boy. 2 shells hit. 2,500 damage. Both overpens. That was atrocious. And yeah, I mean, something tells me if I was that Otago, I would have been absolutely nuked. Oh well. 8 seconds left on the reload. Looking for another broadside on this Otago before I decide to turn back away and get back to the fleet. I did push a little bit too far forward in this thing. You definitely don't want to get into brawling ranges with an Amagi. Full broadside out. Take a decent salvo from the enemy Otago. He opens up his angle perfectly for me. Shells falling in, and again, 4 overpens, 5,000, just over 5,000 damage done. Oh man, yeah, that's upsetting. That's very upsetting. But nonetheless, still at 81,000 damage with 3 Citadels, 25 shell hits, 6 planes shot down, and 1 Cleveland taken care of. Oh well. Unfortunately for me, I'm not going to be able to reload in time to get my rear turrets on the Otago before he gets into a position behind the island. So as I swing my forward 2 turrets in front, I'm going to shoot my rear 3 at the enemy Miyoko. He's got 25,000 health, and he's sailing completely broadside to me at 17.7 kilometers. He takes a massive hit from somebody, definitely a battleship right there. Again, you're looking at the dispersion on the salvo. It doesn't look the best. He starts to turn away. I think he noticed my shells at the last second. Nonetheless, I still manage 1 Citadel, 1 overpen, 2nd ship destroyed in the game, 2 enemy cruisers taken care of, 92,000 damage secured so far in the game. The enemy team has lost 4 ships to R2, and we lead 462 to 317. Well, that was certainly nice. It's always good to get that 1 Citadel and take care, secure the kill, especially at long ranges. You can see the wreck of his ship slowly sinking off in the distance. I shoot my next broadside at the enemy Cleveland, Dark Matter _00. Unfortunately for him, he's about to die. Shells fall in, solid salvo, 13,000 damage done. Back-to-back kill salvos right there, up to 105,000 damage, 32 shell hits, 4 Citadels, 3 ships destroyed. And we're just getting warmed up here, folks. There's plenty more to come in this game. Looking for a shot now on the enemy Otago, that dastardly little bastard that's been lucky not taking massive damage from my salvos. Fire a full broadside, totally run into the Atlanta. Wasn't paying attention. I don't think he was as well. No worse for the wear. He continues on his journey. My shell's fallen on the target. 1 overpen, but I do snag a Confederate out of it, so that's always good. 106,000 damage. So we're just over 8 minutes into the game, and I've done a respectable amount of damage to the enemy team thus far. Unfortunately, my buddies Puddin and Fatal Donuts died quite a bit ago. They were focus fired by everybody that could shoot at them, and now I'm the only one left in the division. I'm looking for a full broadside here on the enemy North Carolina, and I get the salvo out, and I'm licking my chops here, folks. Oh, this could be the kill shot. Perfect broadside, and I only do 12,000 damage. Unfortunately for me, if I would have gotten at least 1 Citadel right there, I would have definitely gotten the nuke outright. But nonetheless, North Carolina still lost about half of whatever remaining hit points that he had. He is using his damage control. He shoots his broadside at me. I'm still staying angled before I turn away from the island. Take a few shell hits right in the superstructure for just over 4,000 damage, but I'm still no worse for the wear. Still have about 2/3 of my hit points left, so I am still in a very good position. At this point of the game, the enemy team has lost 6 ships to R4. The score is 470 to 325. The enemy team has brought the scores back just a little bit, but certainly nothing to make us get, stressed out or worried about the outcome of the game. North Carolina's at 9 kilometers away, and if I can't kill this guy right now, then I just don't deserve this kill in general. Full broadside out, shells falling in, he turns in at the last second, and I only managed to do 2 overpens for 2,500 damage. Oh, man. Yeah, these Amagi guns sometimes, they just drive you nuts, and I don't know why. I'm doing a solid amount of damage. This would be a respectable game if I were to die right now. Take some shots from the enemy turrets on my port side. Luckily for me, I do not take a citadel from these shots that fall in. One hits the deck. More shells from the Fuso, the enemy Fuso that is, fall in just to the bow of me. I do not take any damage. Full broadside out at the enemy North Carolina. I aim up at the superstructure, and there we go. 7,000 damage done. 4th ship sunk from the enemy team. 128,000 damage done. 4 kills, 4 citadels, 48 shell hits, 6 planes shot down, and a Confederate to go with it. Very, very nice stuff here. Now swinging my guns at the enemy Fuso. He's at full health at 17 kilometers away. This game is in the bag, and now it's just who can do, damage at this point. Who's going to be able to mop up the enemy ships. Get a little cinematic shot here. Full broadside going out at the enemy Fuso. I'm going to zoom out here really quickly. The fall of the shot looks okay. He starts to turn in. One shell goes right through the bow for a solid citadel. 16,000 damage done to the enemy Fuso. I must have hit with something else because it only registered 1 citadel, but I know for a fact that Amagi citadels don't do over 16,000 damage a pop. But nonetheless, I knocked a very healthy portion of his hit points away, and I'm up to 145,000 damage. Very good stuff here. Full broadside out yet again on the enemy Fuso. He's completely angled in towards me, but it doesn't matter. I should still be able to do some decent damage if the shells land and hit the target. There we go. 3,700 damage done. Pick up the high caliber to go with the Confederate. Basically at 150,000 damage now. Just a great performance. And so far throughout this game, even with the shoddy accuracy, the damage does pile up on this thing. And now I'm looking for the Randy Orton RKO right here. He is now turning completely broadside. 4 seconds left on the reload. This should definitely be the kill shot. Full broadside is out. Shells are flying in on the Fuso. Will I get the outright nuke and finish off a fantastic game? Oh my goodness. Oh man, how do I screw that up? He's 9 kilometers away. And I aimed too low into the water line, and most of the shells just went into the ocean right before they impacted the vessel. Oh, man. That is rather embarrassing. That is... Okay, well, 5 seconds left on the reload. Let's see if we can take out Night Stalker here in his Fuso. Looking for the next broadside. Shells are flying towards the Fuso. He's not angled enough. Shells going in. There we go. 25,000 damage. Kraken unleashed. 179,000 damage taken care of. Kraken unleashed. High caliber and Confederate. 59 shell hits. 6 planes shot down. 6 glorious citadels. And almost half of the enemy team has fallen to the guns of this Japanese battle cruiser. Very, very, very good stuff. So, although some of the salvos here in this game were very lackluster, this is just textbook Amagi gameplay. Staying at range, not being the center of attention. The armor on it is okay to bounce some shells, but you did see there at the beginning of the game how fast the ship does lose health. But I was able to make use of these good guns, and again, although the accuracy was somewhat shoddy, ended up with a fantastic result here on the map Neighbors in the Amagi. Alrighty guys, taking a look at the post-battle results. 329,000 credits received, just over 6,000 total XP. This was the first win of the day in this ship. Kraken, High Caliber, and Confederate. My favorite slew of medals to get in any game, to be honest with you. 179,000 damage done, 6 citadels, 59 target hits, 6 planes shot down, and almost half of the enemy team destroyed. Taking a look at the team score, 2,012 base XP, easily tops on the leaderboard. A very, very solid showing here in this powerful Tier 8 battlecruiser, and just textbook gameplay in this thing. Just not being the center of attention for the most part, shooting at targets that present you the greatest opportunity to do damage, and if these 16-inch guns do cooperate, they can deal some very, very good hurt on the enemy team. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching this replay. Please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys very much. We're up to 319 subscribers, and we're doing very well. The channel is slowly growing, slowly building, and I really appreciate it from you guys. So, and also, please keep sending in your replays. I love featuring you guys here on our channel. So, Sneaky Snake, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, signing off.